Welcome to Contacto, brought to you by the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO. We've got a great lineup for you today, one of which is trustee from District 1 of HSID, the Houston Independent School District, Rhonda Skillern-Jones. How are you, Ms. Jones?
Good morning. I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. I know everyone understands the importance and the magnitude of serving on the board of the Houston Independent School District, and you've been doing this now for several years. So thank you for your service and your leadership, but you're also a product of HSID.
Hey.
What motivated you to serve in this capacity?
I was previously PTA president and a long-time volunteer for over 20 years with the district, and in the course of doing that, I saw a need in the community for someone to step up and just kind of advocate for kids in our district and District 2 that did not have the parent that could be there all the time. And so I got active doing that on the district level. Yes. And the trustee and I had some conversations, and she was retiring, and she thought it would be a good idea that I run for that spot. Had
you ever run for office before?
I had not.
Wow, and so that's a big jump, right? I mean,
it was from going from being the mom that the stay-at-home mom and the PTA mom, and just serving on the district in those capacities of a committee member, and then being part of the board, which takes care of 215,000 kids. It's quite a step. Yes.
Yes, it is. Well, we're glad that you've been a part of all of that. I know on a lot of people's minds is the search for the superintendent. February will be here soon, and Dr. Greer will move on from HSID. Tell us a little bit about that search. Where are you all? What should the community know?
We have already contracted with a search firm. That contract is now being executed upon the search firm, which we will predict will be happening in the next 30 days. They'll get started, and we will then begin to collect profiles from agencies like Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and you guys will complete a profile form of all the characteristics and traits you'd like to see in a superintendent. And so when those organizations start to get those in, the firm will compile the top profile characteristics, combine them with the ones that the board has decided on, and they will then start to recruit a person that fits those profiles.
So do you see anything that is a trait, if you will, that you believe in this next selection has moved up in terms of the order of traits by any chance?
So I hear a lot from the community, and I agree with them that we do want someone that is sensitive to the needs of all communities and that is responsive to what the citizens themselves want, and able to work within the communities to give the communities what the parents and students are requesting and asking for.
And in your particular district, what areas do you cover? What schools, what area?
My district is District 2. It's the northeast area. There's a small bridge over to the northwest area, and that encompasses Pleasantville, 5th Ward, Trinity Gardens, Cashmere Gardens. There's a little bridge over Independence Heights, and then it crosses over to the northwest area, which is Garden Oaks and Candlelight.
So we've heard of just so many great things about HSID, and often, unfortunately, it's overshadowed by negative publicity. But you've got the DeBakey School, the Energy School, all of these innovative programs in schools, and people on wait lists trying to get in. People that had often moved out of the inner city to go to private schools are coming back. Talk to us a little bit about that.
We have been innovative in creating programs that fit the current economy and the demand for jobs and what the students and parents are asking for their students. And of course, engineering is a big part of that. So we've expanded into those programs, as well as HSPBA. We're building new buildings to make sure those programs are sustainable and that we're evolving to meet the needs of our students.
And you're also working a lot more with the business community, the corporate community, in terms of what their needs are in preparation. A lot more collaboration with the community college and the universities as well.
Absolutely. It's important that we in Houston support each other and work together. And the business community obviously is growing vastly in Houston, and so we need to make sure that we are meeting the need to fill those jobs. Our children have to be trained and be college and career ready, so we've got to work with the vocational schools and the community colleges to ensure that we don't have to go outside of our walls in Houston to fill those jobs.
Well, I know it's a very, very important task, and also one that we just have to get right. And so we thank you for your service and your leadership on the board of Houston Independent School District. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interests of the Hispanic business community. We provide the tools and resources needed to succeed in a competitive market. Through our business development seminars and networking opportunities, members receive valuable insight and access to successful entrepreneurs. For more information, please visit our website or call. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the leader of Houston's new majority.
At KHOU 11, we're proud to be entering our 7th year as a media partner of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Together, we're helping Houstonians find better jobs, get better educations, and live better lives. Together, we're looking to the future and standing for Houston.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interests of the Hispanic business community. We provide the tools and resources needed to succeed in a competitive market. Through our business development seminars and networking opportunities, members receive valuable insight and access to successful entrepreneurs. For more information, please visit our website or call. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the leader of Houston's new majority.
Welcome back to Contacto, brought to you by the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, joined with the former Chamber Board member, Graciela Saenz. She's an attorney here in Houston and also very engaged in the Houston community. She's going to talk to you a little bit about some of the legal activities that are important for you as small business owners to be aware of, but also, and very important, her role on boards and her service here in the community, and how you too can get much more engaged to make sure Houston stays strong and vibrant. Gracie, thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, I appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, Gracie, we've had you on our radio program, on our television program. There's so many things that we could talk about, just given your background, your experience as a former council member, as someone who's been in Houston for a very long time, on every committee you can think of in various capacities, but also as a woman who's as a mother, who's a grandmother. You have your own business with a partner, providing a lot of legal services for our small business owners and individuals. What are some of the things that you think that everyone should be aware of, whether it's for business or individual, in terms of an attorney and their services?
You know, I am really proud of how our law practice has developed, because our focus has been more on the small to medium-sized business owner. And what happens a lot of times is business owners do not have inside counsel.
Because they can't afford it. They're just launching their business.
and so that's it. I mean, they can't afford it, and so they don't even think about it until they hit a snag or a problem, and then they're scurrying to find some, legal representation.
And it's part that they don't know what they don't know, and sometimes some of these legal situations they could have avoided.
Correct.
If they'd worked with an attorney
Exactly.
at the front end. So is that a recommendation?
I always tell people that are up and getting ready to start their business, I said, what you really need is a good attorney and a good banker and a good accountant.
Yes.
So once you have those three,
there's your start team.
That's your start. And those are the individuals that get to know your business.
Sure.
So having some attorney that works with you, that understands what your business is, and actually what your goals are. Because the reality is, the question is going to be, okay, you're starting your business. Now, where are you going to be in 10, 15, 20 years? Is this business going to be growing? Is it something that you want to, hand off to your children, or is it something?
Partners?
Are you going to have partners, or are you going to want to take it public?
Sure.
In which case, you want to make sure that all of the foundation is set for the business. You want to make sure that, am I going to be incorporated?
Yes.
What type of incorporation am I going to be? Am I going to be a limited liability corporation? Am I going to be just a sole proprietorship? Where do I go?
Let's talk about that, the limited liability partnership. If someone was interested in starting a business and they thought, that's probably the route that I'm going, how much would that cost? How much time does it take? And is it something that they could do on their own?
Technically, they could.
Okay.
Technically, it's very simple. You get on the Secretary of State's website,
yes.
and there is a website that allows you to go in and the business organizations, and you can push the button and fill out the form.
So what's the advantage of getting the attorney?
The advantage is a true discussion of what the business is supposed
So
to be.
it's not just about getting that designation, but also where are you going?
Where
what
are
are
you
some
going?
things to look
what
out
are
for?
some of the things you're going to be looking for, and what type of business do you really have? Where is it? And are you going to have members?
Yes.
Are you going to be the sole member? Or are you going to have additional investment opportunity? In which case, you want to go ahead and put the foundation in
And
place.
also it's about protecting your personal assets.
One of the things that I
business.
have found out, especially in our small, business community, is they all start off with DBAs, doing business as, right? And they go and they file it with the Harris County offices, and they're up and running. The reality, if anything goes wrong, then they are open to liability, and that liability can take everything that they have worked for, and it can reach things that they never would suspect, right? So having that discussion, I think, is going to be very important as well. Where are we going? How are we going to set it up? Am I going to say, for instance, I want 100% of the membership units, right, as I start off. But maybe tomorrow I'm going to, be selling off 30% of the business so I can get some equity funding so I can grow the business. So how am I going to do that? And so those questions should be, starting the discussions. Where am I going to go?
Best to do it at the front end.
front
Find a
end.
good attorney.
Exactly.
And
the other
walk
thing that
around.
I tell people is, have your contracts looked at. It's amazing how many people go and lease an office and then realize that that office is not going to be what they really needed for their business, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's I had a
leasing of equipment or vehicles.
right, or they can't store the type of products that their business is supposed to
They
have.
didn't look at the fine
They
print.
didn't look at the fine print.
Right.
Or they may want to sell liquor, and they didn't realize that they're within 1,000 feet of a school or
Correct.
a church or so forth.
Correct.
And so it's those types of questions that need to be asked, need to be looked at. And then how do I get out of this lease? I think that that's always a very important thing
Yes.
to discuss with a client, is how long are you going to be here? Are you looking to buy property in the future? That's going to be an asset for your company.
And how do you
set
buy
it-
out your partner, for example?
Exactly. And sometimes the reality is, if something were to happen to your partner, how do I protect myself from all of a sudden his wife coming into the picture? Do we discuss partition agreements and so
Yes.
forth?
It can
So
get complicated really fast.
It can get very complicated
Very
fast.
good.
And so sometimes having it at the beginning,
Yes.
discussing it and setting up. And I think the other thing is it's been interesting to see individuals as they're trying to grapple with the organization structure at the beginning and having those discussions now.
Up front end. So there's no you said,
surprise
he said, I
at the
thought.
end. Yes.
Very good.
And so that's, I think, very important as we move forward.
Gracie, in addition to your full-time role as a professional, as an attorney, you spend an inordinate amount of time serving the community in various capacities. And I know there are a lot of people out there saying, I don't have time for that. And the reality is that people make time. Talk a little bit about why this is so important to you and to so many other Houstonians that make the time.
The way I see it is you have tables of power and tables of resources that are being dealt out every single day in this community, whether it's a nonprofit or whether it's for-profit, right? And those individuals sitting at those tables are deciding, where are we going to spend our money? Who are we going to hire to run this organization? And I'm not talking about, $100,000 business. I'm talking about $1 million organizations. And the power to be in that discussion at that table to say, you know what, this is where community needs
Yes.
support. This, and when you're working in the community, you know what's been taking place. You have
Or hasn't taken
or
place.
hasn't. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes I tell people, I said, you're not guilty of the sin of commission. You're guilty of the sin of omission. You don't even think about us. And so that's where I feel it's important. Sometimes when you do have that knowledge and experience, to use it in areas that would benefit others.
And there's so many opportunities to do that, big and small,
Amen.
correct?
Amen.
Young or very experienced. Because a lot of times what I hear is, well, number one, I don't have time for it. Number two, I don't have the experience to do this. And number three, I don't know that I can really make a difference.
Well, I tell people if you don't know what it's like to serve on a board, then get a little bit of training. The United Way has Project Blueprint that basically takes minority young professionals and gives them the insight and the training to be on boards.
Volunteer at an organization
again,
that is of your interest. Learn the organization.
And I think that that's
volunteer.
very important to also tell people. I said it doesn't matter what you're interested in. There is probably a nonprofit already working it. First of all, and I try to caution individuals that also want to create their own nonprofit. You know, all of a sudden they've got a great idea, and I think this is an area that is
I'm
not
going to raise money, and I'm going to
am-
change the world by myself.
Exactly, and I'm saying let's not go there just yet. You know, look for an organization that is already in existence, volunteer, understand the dynamics, because in the end, that dollar that is given to you does not really belong to you. Yeah, it belongs to the public. And the individual that really has oversight of that dollar is the Attorney General of the state of Texas. And I'm trying to tell them, you know, you have to be very careful in good faith, you know, in what you're doing and as a nonprofit, you know, member. So, you know, I tell them, look and see what the mission is. And that's the other thing. Everything, anything you are interested in, whether it's animals, whether it's children, whether it's the elderly, whether it's, you know, employment.
Somebody's out there doing it.
Somebody is out there already doing it.
And try to find ways to collaborate with them,
Right.
learn along the way, and then when that opportunity presents itself, submit your name for nomination. I think especially
or move up the
Latinos.
ladder and become the CEO.
Correct. I think many times among Latinos, especially females, is that we think, well, I'm not qualified enough. And the truth is that there are all types of roles and opportunities, and we just need to go out there, throw our name in the hat, and see what happens, and look for those opportunities as well.
I agree. Currently, I'm serving on 4 different boards, and it is sometimes rather hectic because the service is not just on the board and governance; it's also
The
working
committees and
the
on your
committees
own
and doing all the
researching.
research and doing all the networking. But I'm very proud of being on the board for Project Grad, which is educational, the Memorial Hermann Hospital System, the Community Relations Committee, which is of course community and healthcare, the University of Houston Center for Public Policy, which is education plus the public policy side that I, you know, am passionate about as well as the Self Foundation, which is an organization started by Bo Porter, the former Astros manager here in Houston, and it is targeting the middle schools and their development. And I think it's a very important, again, it's sports and education and the ability to bring them together and have that healthy, growth of students as they're going through their and especially in those areas that are considered, you know, difficult. And
Sure.
so we want to be there for them, and it's a great organization.
Well, Gracie, on behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, thank you for your service, not only to the Chamber, but to Houston, and for all that you do. And on a personal note, for our many, many, many years of friendship, thank you for all that you've done for Houstonians. On behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interests of the Hispanic business community. We provide the tools and resources needed to succeed in a competitive market. Through our business development seminars and networking opportunities, members receive valuable insight and access to successful entrepreneurs. For more information, please visit our website or call. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the leader of Houston's new majority.
At KHOU 11, we're proud to be entering our 7th year as a media partner of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Together, we're helping Houstonians find better jobs, get better educations, and live better lives. Together, we're looking to the future and standing for Houston.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interests of the Hispanic business community. We provide the tools and resources needed to succeed in a competitive market. Through our business development seminars and networking opportunities, members receive valuable insight and access to successful entrepreneurs. For more information, please visit our website or call. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the leader of Houston's new majority.
We're back here on CBS Television. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Joining us today, we're going to be talking about Houston Money Week. With us is Donald Bowers from the Federal Reserve Bank of Texas. Thank you for joining us, Donald.
Thank you for having us, Laura.
Well, we're so happy to have you all as partners. We've done many events at the Federal Reserve Bank and been able to really share a lot of information through our breakfasts, our seminars, etc. But today we're going to talk about Houston Money Week. What is that, Donald?
So Houston Money Week is a community-wide financial education initiative we conduct it every year in April, and it's about getting free financial education advice out to the community, whether it's for individuals, seniors, children, entrepreneurs, anyone who has any interest in money. This is a great opportunity for them to get access to key information.
And it's free information, and what's great about it is, from what I understand, is that you partner with other banks, other institutions to really go out there and educate Houstonians.
And free is the key word.
Yes,
what we do with
we
our
like
partners,
free,
what
Donald.
we do with our partners during this time of the year is we ask them that even if they may charge a small fee for their classes during other times of the year, that they give the information during April in a free format. And so whether it's through the Small Business Administration or other for-profit institutions, all of the classes that we offer this month are free.
And you go out, for example, to schools, you go to churches, you even go to places of business where employees are to disseminate this information.
That's correct. We actually have a seminar within the medical center.
Yes.
For the employees in the Texas Medical Center.
Okay.
We've worked with the City of Houston and had special classes for City of Houston employees, and we're happy to partner with other organizations to do similar programs.
And the truth is that we really are far behind where we need to be, especially minority communities, when it comes to our finances, our credit, establishing credit, obtaining a line of credit, you name it. We're really behind, aren't we?
You know, it's really interesting. Within the City of Houston, state of Texas, probably about 2/3 of our communities have what we would call subprime credit, which means that whenever they're accessing credit for a mortgage or for a car loan, they're having to pay a prime rate, a premium rate over the base rate, and every little bit of that ends up encroaching on our ability to save. And so having good credit is really important.
And being able to start at a young age. And so I know part of the plan during Houston Money Week, which is in April, you all also are out at the schools. Tell me
That's
about
correct.
that experience.
So we have just young people of all ages talking to them about the basics of money. Junior Achievement will actually have some special programs at Lovett Elementary School and a few other elementaries in our community, and the kids love it.
What kind of questions do they ask? I'm curious.
Well, one of the things that they ask us at the Federal Reserve is, why do we shred the money? You know, because that having
they could find a use for it.
They could find a use for it, right?
That's
And so you have to talk to them about what does it really mean to have money, and that you have to earn and you have to put in work in order to earn money. And so it's really talking about some of those basics.
And would you say that in your experience with this now, that you're finding that the younger population, do they already come in with knowledge, or do you find that you all might be the first people talking to them about money?
Well, they know about money, obviously, because they know
they know
that
how to spend
they know
it.
they know that there are transactions that take place in their
Correct.
home and how money works. But I think that there's the part of money that we know about how it works in our community, and then there's the part of money that how it really works on a much broader sense and how money can work for you. I think especially in our low and moderate income communities, what we see is that we have to work hard for money, but we don't think about how money works for us.
Well, and also establishing credit, for example.
Right.
If you're going to try to even get electricity in an apartment, you have to have certain things that you've done. And there are segments of the community, Hispanics in particular, where they think paying for cash is the best way, the only way, and sometimes don't understand that while you have the cash, it might be beneficial to obtain it via credit.
And also to be banked. You know, one
Yes.
of our challenges is encouraging our Hispanic communities, especially, immigrant Spanish-speaking communities, that we have to be banked. You know, buying transactional services through payday lenders and other alternative bankers can sometimes be more expensive than being banked with a traditional financial
And it goes back
institution.
to that lack of trust in institutions, lack of understanding, and it's generational for many of us who came with parents who perhaps had very little or no education. First of all, there was no money to put in the bank, Donald,
There you go.
and that's part of it. But as our community becomes much more affluent, we need to start teaching them early. Let's talk about businesses. So I know there are some businesses who are calling saying, come and talk to my employees, come on out and visit with us. You all will go actually to places where they're...
We have a bureau of speakers who will go out and give financial education courses to the employees.
Yes.
And we also have some train the trainer programs where we can teach someone from your company to actually use one of our free products and actually teach the classes themselves. So we do it both ways.
And you've received a lot of community support on this effort. I mean, it seems like more every year. I feel like you all have added partners, and you're extending the places where you go. And these are on Saturdays. These are in the evening during lunch. I mean, you guys are all over the place.
It's really caught fire. The very first year, I believe we touched about 4,000 people with our program. This last year, we touched over 12,000 people with our program, and that just shows you how much people have taken to the messaging and wanting to know more about how to manage their money.
And again, at the end of the day, it is free. You're not selling them anything. It's just about providing information.
Every partner signs an agreement that says that they will offer the courses during this time for free and that they will not market or sell you.
Very good, and that's so important because sometimes people are hesitant and don't want to attend those types of events because they think, again, you're going to try to sell me something, or you want my business. And so to know that they can have these opportunities are great, and you're offering them in Spanish and on different parts of the city, not just in one location.
That's correct. This past year I actually sat in on a home buyer class, and it was a first-time home buyer class, and it brought back a lot of memories to me because I actually participated in a first-time home buyer class when I bought my first home.
And it can be a very stressful, difficult process, even for someone who's educated, has gone to college. Sometimes it's just like, okay, so much paperwork, so many things to be aware of.
And so you get the opportunity to sit with people who are just like you and ask questions that are just the basic fundamental. So what are the taxes, and when do I have to pay the taxes, and do I have to pay them every month? Do I have can I pay them at one time?
What are the penalties?
What is an escrow account?
Yes.
And so some of those basic fundamentals that maybe we didn't get when we were growing up at home, we learned them through programs like this.
Of course, or we learned the hard way that we don't know, and as you said, especially some of those loan places, especially in our minority communities where interest rates are very high, people don't read the fine print, all of those things are out there, and we want to make sure people can make some educated decisions.
Correct.
And I think, again, at the end of the day, that's what Money Week is designed, is to provide information in person in a non-intimidating environment. But also people can get information if they visit your website?
Sure, they can go to www.houstonmoneyweek.org and they can see all of the events. They can sign up for the events at that website, and they can sort them in all the different ways that you normally would want to sort information.
Fantastic. Well, Donald, to you and the Federal Reserve Bank, thank you for this initiative, which is Houston Money Week, and we're so happy that you all have continued to do this and that you're providing this information to so many Houstonians. And again, we really value the relationship that our Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has had with you all over the years.
And we too as well. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you again for joining us here at the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Contacto program. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO. We'll see you very soon. Have a great day. Thank you.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interests of the Hispanic business community. We provide the tools and resources needed to succeed in a competitive market. Through our business development seminars and networking opportunities, members receive valuable insight and access to successful entrepreneurs. For more information, please visit our website or call. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the leader of Houston's new majority.